Hello, and welcome back to another podcast on Radiant Realization with Namrita. Today, I have an awesome guest, Rakhi Kapoor, with me. She is multi talented and multi dimensional. She's an author, she's a businesswoman, she's a counselor, and what all. Today, we are going to know more about her directly from her and how she's going to help us today to make our life happy, pleasurable, and exciting. So, welcome, Rakhi. I'm super excited to have you today.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here as well.
So, Rakhi, I am really impressed with the multidimensional life that you are enjoying. Like professionally, I see you've done so many things, and you are also enjoying. Author of 26 books, having a maternity studio, acting as a counselor, volunteering at multiple organizations. So, Rakhi, I would like to know from you what got you started and what excites you in driving that everything that you do these days before we deep dive into our today's topic.
First, let me just say hello to the audience, and it's a pleasure being here. And thank you for this opportunity. So, yeah, it's just life, just one thing leading to another. Sometimes you stand at crossroads and you think, what do you want to do in life? So, there are two things. One is destiny plays, and then you have your own aspirations. If I would have had the choice to do it my way, then I would have taken up the role of the author first. I always wanted to be a writer. But then there was so much of pressure from the parents that it was those days, yeah, when the parents would put a lot of pressure. And I'm a Bengali, though I have a Kapoor as a title. So like study. So that's why I had to get into a profession course. So I did my bachelor's in physiotherapy. Then I went ahead and did my master's in counseling. And when I've completed my graduation, I realized that I needed to do something very niche. There was not much of help for women who were expecting. So this is a very new concept called prenatal counseling. That is something that I pioneered in India almost 20 to 23 years back. And that's how I started as a counselor. Then I realized that I needed to reach out to a wider audience because I'm based out of a physical space. This was just before COVID. So that's when I wanted to write books so that at least the couples who can't come physically to me would be able to read the books. So that's when the shift happened from a counselor to a author. And being an author, then I tried so many genres. And yeah, so after COVID, now I like counsel mothers all over the world. So the books and the counseling has just taken worldwide. And yeah, simultaneously, I was running me and my husband, we started a fashion brand. And yeah, and wherever I have to work to empower women, like for me to make it this far has not been easy. So if there is anything that I can provide to women out there who need a balance between their career, relationships, and being a mother. So that's why so many things.
Yes. So, before motherhood comes relationship, and before relationship comes dating. So, Rakhi, today I'm going to know from you first two steps, and later we can go into motherhood. So, Rakhi, when it comes to dating, one basic question that most people have is what key qualities that to look an individual should look for in a partner for a long, sustainable relationship?
Okay, see, if you are going in for dating, I was just looking at my phone and my social media team just worked up on the reel. So I was doing a reel on dating, which is going to be up on my Instagram channel soon. I mean, a page. When you go for a date, you don't go with the baggage to start a relationship. That's the most important thing. This is the most important flaw that people make. Dating is just you meet someone, have a good time, and come back. And after that, you may not want to see this person. You may not want to see this person at all. And it should be accepted. You should not have this kind of pressure on yourself and the other person to call back. Okay. So from here, when you go on the first day, the next thing is if you want to carry on a relationship with a person like this, then you need the first thing you will look is whomever you have dated, they don't push you in getting back to you. It's very important if you're looking at a long term. So you see the comfort and the space, because when you're talking about a long term relationship, it's very important to have your own space. So then you go back and you think that it was a good time. I enjoyed myself. Maybe I want to know this person a little bit more. Maybe there is something more, and then get back. So the first important thing when you meet a person on a date is one is how comfortable the date goes, where you don't have to put up with this person and put up yourself as someone else. The second thing is after the date gets over, there is no pressure that you need to get back to this person, and you're not forced unless you take your time, let it simmer, and then go back.
Challenges do people face? Common challenges when they start dating? Because many times it is mentally and emotionally draining in the dating phases. So how to handle such situation and how to overcome this?
Basically, I'll be very clear. The mental and emotional challenges start first with the physical challenges. You can't directly hit on the emotional and mental part. There are two people dating. How is their work schedule? How much of time do they have? And does this person fit into it? You start with that, because the one thing about structure of a person is your day. You have a timetable, you have a schedule, you have your commitments, you have your work. Okay, so then if you're dating somebody and your time schedules are not working, you're not comfortable, you're not able to keep up the commitments, and you feel there's a lot of pressure, that itself is the first put off. Because when you try really hard to fit this person into your schedule, or you're trying to fit in, you will start getting emotionally drained. So initially, we start with convenience. Listen, these are the times I'm available. These are the times in a week or once a month. Or can we not meet in person? Can we also talk on the phone? And these are the timings. Does it match with yours? And then you will find that space where you will know that. See, because what happens is, say, if you're running against a clock, okay, you're already drained. Then you're running to squeeze a person in, and that leaves you even more drained. But when you start getting to know the person and you realize this person energizes me, so then you go to the next step to find your emotional and mental energy, that even if I take away 15 minutes or 1 hour from my busy schedule, I get so much of energy to make up for 2 hours in my schedule. So you get me what I'm trying to say? So first thing,
Yes.
I think when you're dating someone, you should start with how you can fit that person very comfortably in your daily schedule without it disturbing your other balanced life. Like you may have commitments, like probably you live with your parents, or you have to take care of an older parent, or you have, in anything other than work commitment. So how does this person fit into your dating schedule?
This is really interesting. And if there are such constraints with respect to work, with respect to personal commitments, then how do we communicate to a partner to whom we are dating so it's easy for them to even understand? So what is the role of communication during dating phase?
See, one thing about communication is first we start using words. So we're very clear. Like between you and me, it was so clear. It was very clear that you had an app and you said, Rakhi, you need to pick your schedule on this. So you see, the communication was very clear. So I know there is no other way to get a time slot with you but this. There are, like, I'm not going to text you. Okay, now how long are you going to? When can we see? It saved so much of our time, whenever, whichever day. So that is the thing, is your communication should be very clear that you do not give hope to this person. And if you cannot do it on the first date or the first few dates, then trust me, you get into a relationship with a person with whom you can't put your cards on the table and express yourself. It's going to drain you all your life. It's going to strain the whole relationship. So being very clear that I have a time constraint or these are the times. Now, it won't be very nice to do the scheduling on an app. I think that we get too critical. But I think like it's like, oh, this is my schedule now. You have a time. But I think couples who are really busy or people who are really busy could even try that. So initially, you make it very clear that this is the time I have. These are the time slots. What can I do? And yes, with the other person also, that is it compatible or where can we come halfway through? Say for this date I compromise, for the next date you compromise, or for this date you cut two corners, I'll cut one corner, and we'll come halfway through. So the communication should be clear. The minute you tell the person, oh, anytime is okay, I will do anything for you, and I will, what is it, sweep the world beneath your feet. No, it is not communication. That is just flattery. Clear, crisp words and intent. Yes, I'm serious. I want to meet you. I like you, but these are my constraints. So can we work around it?
And like you said, that flattery or will do everything, I'll get stars and moons for you. So probably that are few red flags, right? Because nobody can do it. What other red flags, maybe yellow flags or green flags that we should look for or we should not look for? So we think of going on second date, third date, we think of building a future with this person.
Okay. See, when you see a person for the first time, okay, is understand that everybody wants to put up their best behavior. Even you are putting up your best behavior. Okay. So you need to give the person the benefit of doubt. Now, where I come into relationships is I come in a place where we are also dealing with a higher level. I'm just not talking about basic relationships. I'm talking about abuse, toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse, child abuse, because these are the two books which has won me my Golden Book Award for 2023, 2024. 2023, the other books that I took it, I received this award was with Gaur Gopal Das, J.K. Rowling, Ashni Grover, people like them. So this book is called "Is Now You Breathe." So let's not get to the red flags, but the yellow flags is the person courteous, kind, and and physical appearance makes a difference. I'm not saying that you need to be very expensively dressed and very classy, but you will have some taste and choice. You start with that. See, you don't know who that person is, but you start with whether they're tidy, if that's what you like. You like someone to be meticulous. So that this person has taken that effort to come to the date. He or she is dressed properly. He or she comes on time. These are the things you start with on the first date. And on the dates, suppose you say that you just want a cup of coffee and you're not going to eat anything, and they are okay with it. Then, if you're that kind of independent person and you expect that no, we split the bill, or like, okay, he's a man, I'm talking as a woman, he needs to pay. You understand? Those basic things should go smooth. Has that person respected your time? Do you see some kind of an effort? Or they've just walked in? Oh, and if they have walked in, are they telling you? Sometimes exceptions are there. Some people are busy or something has happened and they just make it. But do you see that kind of effort to be there present? And during the date, how you interact, does it go smooth? Like, would you think, go back and think the yellow flag is, okay, if I have to meet this person, can I go through this again? Or I can go a little late. This person did not respect my time. What was he or she wearing? Or how was he or she talking? So these are the yellow flags. So we'll come to the red flags when we come to the next question, when you ask me the red flags.
Sure. Okay, so one thing which I really liked is when you said that it has to go smooth. And probably the smoothness in conversation is highly underrated, is what I feel. Because while you were talking, and I went back to the past instances when I was dating and all, and yes, I realized if it has been smooth during first date, maybe I was looking to meet that person for the second time. Otherwise, maybe I was forced to go again and talk. It was not coming from my heart, like I want to meet this person again. What would you feel is most important to have a healthy balance between independence and togetherness in a relationship?
Okay. When it comes to independence and togetherness in a relationship, I'm actually preparing for another in person talk that's going to be on couple goals. You have your own goals, that is your individual goals. Then you have your goals with the other person. Say you can call them couple goals, you can call them whatever you want. One needs to understand you can't have it your way completely. Do you get me? It can't be that I want this, it has to be like this, it's my life, or it's my way or the highway. That doesn't work. It doesn't work with your individual goals also. Because if you are talking about your profession and your individual goals, you also have to understand that you're going to be working with a team at work. So, or if it is a woman or if it's a person who is holistically more into family or who's a homemaker, he or she needs to understand that it cannot be my way or the highway, the first thing. Second thing is there are going to be compromises and adjustments everywhere. You cannot have it perfect. This is the problem with most people whose expectations are it has to be perfect. See, the first date can be smooth and you may want to go back. But as you start going back and as you start taking the relationship to the next level, every day is not going to be smooth. You can't edit it like a YouTube video. You can't edit it like an Instagram reel and put it up there. So, how much can you give? How much will you tolerate? And how much will you compromise? It is very important to get these very clear. So, what I use in this place is called boundary setting. So, the question that you asked me, the answer would be clearly if you set your boundaries, one is the boundaries in your mind, that this is what I will accept in the relationship. Then you also set the boundaries between you and the other, telling them, this is what I will accept from you. Do you get me? So when you set your boundaries in your mind, how much you want to give and how much will you allow that person to take from you. Yeah. Then when you set the boundaries with the other person, then you make it very vocal to them. This is where you communicate. Like for example, just giving you an example. Maybe the other person has a friend or a family member and you feel that they are very very intrusive, okay, and you're dating this person for a very long time, so then you can politely say that I'm not very comfortable, so can we find a distance or a space? Should I have to talk to this person every time, or should this person be so integrally involved in our dating life? Maybe the person you're dating can keep a parallel relationship with them, but do you need to get involved? I was just giving you one example. It can be a lot of aspects. Like, for example, it could be a sport. Maybe you don't like that sport or you don't like that. It's not necessary that you also need to do this together. So you're like, okay, fine. If you like to, play cricket with your friends, it's fine. And don't expect me to come and watch you. Do you get me what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
So
yes.
boundaries is a very, very important aspect of it. Once you set your boundaries, you're good.
And so that will make it more comfortable for other person to know your likes and dislikes, like till
Yeah,
what
they will
extent.
know. Correct. They will know till what extent they can. See, likes, dislikes, everybody has likes, dislikes. But say, like, I like something, but you may love something. So when you set the boundaries, you find a very beautiful balance between how much and where to stop.
And so after making like a bringing clarity in what I expect from myself, from the goals that I have for me as a couple, where do we look towards, how do we see our future? So in this process, what can we do to build trust in a relationship? So external factors are not breaking down the connection that we want to build with our spouse or a person that we are dating.
Okay. Like one thing I said, no, that dating and when you get into emotional bonds, it's not that black and white, right? So, like I said from the beginning, that there will be places where you'll want to give and you'll want to compromise. You will have to. You may have to step back and you don't win all the time. It's always you win, they win. Once they win, you lose. But the next time you win, they don't win the way you win. So, this is something that you need to keep in mind. Now, coming to your question is trust. Okay, trust starts with the smaller things in life. Like we are waiting to see this, oh, I trust you, but where does the trust start? Trust me, intricately in any relationship, trust starts with, I'm going to call you back in 1 hour. I'm in a call, please excuse me, I'll call you back in 1 hour. Okay, does this person keep up the commitment? Do you get me? It's a very, very simple. That's how you start building trust. You don't wait for the world to fall apart and then that person comes and bails you and trust me. No. Do they keep up to these daily small, small commitments? Because if somebody keeps to their smaller commitments, that means it is by habit. So initially, this person may want to impress you and they'll go bowling over you. But later in life, you will notice that it is not even the habit in this person. And trust is also built in how they interact with everything else in their life. Trust me, a person who is not committed towards everything is like, oh, my whole world aside, but I don't care. I only care for you. No, no, no. It doesn't work that way. That means this is a facade. So these are things which are habit in a people. I will call you back. I'm busy. I will text you maybe in an hour. That hour could also become half an hour extra or 2 hours. But that doesn't mean you don't hear from that person. I will be there. If I can't be there, I will let you know that I can't be there. I will not waste your time and your energy. You understand? So when I'm also working with people, I see their level of commitment. Like with you, you've been very prompt. There's an email, there is an answer. We schedule the questions. Today morning, I had two mails, yeah, which said that okay, looking forward, we just catching up. So then that is the trust that we build. That yes, when you said you're going to be here at 9 o'clock, you mean business. So that's how trust is built with the smaller things and the smaller commitments. Later comes the bigger thing. Commitment should be a matter of habit. I'm committed and you can trust me. This is what you should look for in this.
When you find somebody who is committed, who is reaching out, whose actions are speaking louder than words. So with such people, how do we initiate discussion about future? So both of us are on same part and it's not that we are having a parallel lives.
See, if two people are meant to be, as much as I'm trying to tell you these things, see, there are two things I always tell people, okay? It's different to have an affair or have a relationship, but marriage is totally different. That's why these days I see a lot of marriages fall apart. Okay? You can have an affair, you can have a relationship where you don't intend to have a long term, and it's fine. But the minute you get into marriage and the minute you talk about raising children together, that's when it takes it to it takes it to the next level. And that's when you need to be very sure because trust me, the romance is going to die away very soon. And you're going to live with a person and look at their habits, look at their face. The first thing they get up in the morning, hair all over, the mouth smelling without having brushed. So there's no romance left, but these internal principles like trust, commitment, caring, consistency, and standing up. Okay. So, but sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. Sometimes you just have to take, I have dealt with so many couples all my life. And first thing when I meet a couple is I ask them, how did you get to be together? Okay. So in some couples, they sat across and they said that, okay, we should take it to the next level. Some couples, it was impromptu. It was just impromptu. They just felt it and they started off. And then they started work later. So sometimes it does happen that you may be very sure that this is the person, and then later you're like, whoosh, no. So if you are really looking at taking the relationship to the next level, you don't make that person doubt how you feel about it. So this doubting also comes from second guessing. I'm not calling, I'm not turning up, I'm not serious, I'm not there for you. And then finally, I think you should just pop the question. These days, you shouldn't assume much or wait much. That yes, I'm very keen. I am, and I would like to live, take this to the next level and get more serious. And then between you both, you decide, because you will have your career, you'll have your family, you may have a lot of other things to sort out before you get in, or you just jump in. Okay. So here, you can't really go by the book all the time. But take that call. You just live once. Take that call.
Rakhi, what does it take to build a deep emotional connection with your partner? Because many times it is observed like men's are lot more emotionally unavailable to the person that they are dating, and that's usually the complaint that you get to hear from your girlfriend, that this is what is happening, that is what is happening. So first is how, what can women do, or what can a couple do so there's a deeper emotional bond in that relationship?
Okay. See, you did point a very valid point. Is most you did point it out that most girls complain that, oh, he's all lost, he's not emotional, he doesn't express himself. So I'll tell you the story. So there was this very close friend of mine, and there was this one day she was going on saying, because she was telling me about my husband, and she was comparing notes, and she was saying, oh, he's so expressive, he sends you flowers, and he remembers all the anniversaries and birthdays, and there are gifts. I don't get any of that. I mean, I do get, but there is no romance and drama around my life. Yeah, she used the word drama as well, because he doesn't get angry, he doesn't respond in my relationship, because there is so much of emotions, then there's everything else. Then I turned around and said, what? I feel that your life is so comfortable, because we were both working women. I said, your car is always, the gas is always filled in the car, groceries are done. The important things for a woman to balance her life. Sometimes she walks in and even a meal is cooked. Okay. So, see, so this is what you need to pick for yourself. And you need to watch that all men may not be able to express themselves, or even women are like that. Not every woman can sit and sing a love ballad and cook a great meal for you. But what is that one thing, or how do they express themselves? Sometimes the way they express themselves is by just holding your hand. Sometimes the way they will express themselves is they will not say anything, but they will listen to you attentively rather than looking at the phone. You understand? You may have this person who like, oh, I love you, and the world is sending you flowers, but when you're crying your heart out, he's on the phone and he's half there. So I think it's very important for couples to understand this one thing, is that when is this person and how is this person 100% available to you? In a 24/7 relationship, people cannot be available all the time. Like right now, when I'm doing this, I cannot be there to see if my husband has had breakfast today, he's leaving on time, whether he needs anything. He will have to manage. Okay. But there are times at the end of the day, or when he wants to talk to me, or when he wants to share something, or he wants to stand up for me. And it is the same way, he will understand that I'm busy and you will not disturb me. Now, this is where trust, I trust him. And because I trust him, I will put my emotions into to this relationship. And I will figure out that when I get his attention, when I get his genuine attention, is when I know I can invest, because I can trust this person to be there. And that is how the emotional connect comes. So it comes from small, small things. It's not about you. We see the thing today is like you're on Instagram and on social media. Everybody loves to see these baby videos and baby pictures. Oh, they look very cute, and they're like million likes on them. Trust me, ask that mother what effort it takes to put up that video, or whoever it's they're putting it. And that's just 30 seconds or 1 minute, 30 seconds of the reel. Bathing, grooming, taking care of the baby. You understand? So when you invest your emotions into someone, don't invest them based on the little things that you get to see. I have to rephrase it, on the small time expressions of love. Oh, I sent me flowers, bigger than large size drama, that can be there. But 24/7 on the little things, on the smaller things in life, are they there by your side? That is when the emotion connect happens. It takes time to build in. When you have this flush of emotions coming in, and then suddenly emotions going out, that's again a red flag. That's again, that time, those are moods. Those are moods. Those are not emotions.
Just okay. So, Raki, another thing that I've experienced, and also I've heard lots from my friends and all. There's usually lot of external pressure when you reach a marriageable age, when you start dating somebody, to get married, to take it forward, but you yourself are not clear. Sometimes you are not clear even after a few dates or even after meeting couple of people. So in that case, have to handle external pressure, at the same time stay sane and make a decision that you feel is right for you.
Okay, see, the external pressures are two kind of pressures. Okay, one is pressure coming from very close family. Okay, and one is random people. Right, so we need to understand this. Now, when it's pressure coming from very close family, so you're already on a high, that is a very different thing to deal with. Then when there's like pressure coming from random people, that too we should not even, I thought, say you should not even waste your energy on a random acquaintance or an aunt or an uncle or someone you meet once a while. You should just avoid them. You should just block them. You should just run away from them. You get me? Or just pretend that whatever they said doesn't make a difference or you can't hear them. Right? Yeah. So that thing you should not even bother, because they don't pay your bills, they don't live your life, they don't wake up in your shoes. They have no right to tell you when you should get married, who you should get married to, and take your life decisions. This is one thing I'm very clear. Going around, most people they mess up because they go around taking advice and taking everybody's opinions very seriously. If you do that, then your life is going to be miserable. Now, it comes from the pressure, say it could be a parent. Now, these are the pressures that you need to take very seriously. One, if you have a relationship with a parent where you can actually explain and they understand, yeah, that listen, okay, I I know what you're going through. I think that you want this to happen, but it's not happening. So they back off. It doesn't happen with all parents. Next thing, what you can do is ask for a timeline or ask for a goal that, see, listen, can you give me a year? Can you give me some more time? Or you can tell them that this is a level that I need to reach in my life. Give me this time. Suppose it happens in between that I do find and things move, and because things can just happen tomorrow, you may want to change it and say, no, I'm not waiting for so long. Maybe you meet somebody really amazing and you feel, no, I just want to do it. So, external pressures who are very important, your close family and people who matter to you, those are the people you should give a reason. You should ask for time and you should communicate. Now, not everybody is lucky that way. Not everybody is lucky that you'll have a parent who will give you time or they will give you, then you just do what you have to. Yeah. Then, but you do it very politely because you don't want to hurt your parents. Oh, I'm very busy. We spend very less time with them alone. And the minute this topic comes, run. Yeah. Rest of the time, you tell them, if you talk about this, I'm going to run. Or rest of the time, you do stuff with them. Okay. And you'll see that this kind of pressure again comes when they meet so many other people.
Yes.
Like they'll go meet the world. Ah, आपकी बेटी की शादी नहीं हुई, your daughter didn't get married, your son didn't get married. That's it. They will come back. So you can also decide that when they have met the whole world and come back, that day you stay away from them. Clearly, oh, I'm very busy at work. I'm busy. Let them cool off a little bit. Or at that time, you can. That is the time you should pick up a phone and keep checking your phone, checking your messages, or reading a book, or answering an email and go. The thing is, people don't know when to be busy on the phone and when not to be busy on the phone. Yeah. So it's a
Yes.
fine balance where you don't want to hurt the person you love because you love them, but you don't want to hurt yourself. But this is something I clearly tell everybody. Like I do this in my family. Until date, I have done it to so many people. They will, because I deal a lot with relationships. And for me, when it comes to pregnancy, childbirth, managing careers, there is where the challenge of a relationship comes between a man and wife. So I have man and woman. So I've been doing this for 20 years. So in my social circle, in my family, they just send the kids or the younger couples, or just send random their son and daughter and say, speak to her. And then they will tell her, please give them some advice. No, let them just get married and settle down. The biological clock is ticking, this, that. I get that also. Serious stuff after marriage, they're not having babies. So I have to deal with serious stuff. Yes, the biological clock is ticking. So how do you still manage that? But this is what I tell every person. If you are not ready to get committed into a relationship and you're not ready, don't do it for anybody, because they will not, all these people, they will come, they'll attend your engagement, they'll attend your wedding, they'll have a jolly good time, eat, and they go back. But you have to live with it every day. So don't succumb. There are certain things in life you should not be succumbing to ever by force, no matter whoever forces this on you. Parents must understand. I'm sure the parents of this generation and the generations later are getting there, but not everybody is lucky. But if your parents don't understand and they decide they just want to push you into a place where you're not comfortable, I think you must find a way to stand up and protect yourself.
This is almost like $1 million advice, Rakhi, because I think nobody's going to tell it so explicitly that it's you who have to make it work.
Yeah, you have to make it work. So I've sent all these kids out to tell them that don't. Then I'll say, listen, don't go and say that I said don't. Then the next thing, your parents are not going to trust me and not going to talk about it. So they'll come back with the other problem. Okay, now I said this happened. How can I deal with it? So no, and I trust me, I have seen them, they are so much more happier having followed that advice. They're so much more happy. I've seen so many more couples who said no, 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 no. And when the time was right, they said yes, yes, and they're so happy.
Rakhi, now, like, assuming that we are with the best person who's like a God sent person with them, and we are enjoying our life. But along with that, there are a lot of daily commitments, daily chores, work commitments, responsibilities, travel. So, in mid of all these things, how to keep romance alive? Like how to have this couple time in 24/7 clock that's always ticking.
Okay, so this is a trick that I always have. Okay, don't stop dating the person you're with. It's very simple. So there's a fine balance. Yeah, the rest of the things have to happen, but don't stop dating. Yeah, so that means you plan your dates, you really get excited, you get ready, not that just get up and just walk out. What would you do when you were dating that person? Would you take that effort to dress, make a reservation in a place, their favorite place? Rest of the day you can be doing your stuff. So in a 24/7 relationship, this is my view, it does not have to be everyone's, But I'm not the one who ever messages or calls my spouse unless it is an emergency, unless it is important because we work together as well. So we, I, that is again boundary. Again, a very important thing is boundary. Have you eaten? Have you slept? Is the food digested? Did you like my khana? You get me? When you keep doing this daily, it becomes annoying, right? And I also don't want him calling me all the time to check on me. What are you doing? Are you feeling okay? So that distance and living each other's life and doing things at that space, then at the end of the day, when you come together, like, you're really looking forward to catch up. So like, array, the whole day she's been on my back, or the whole day he's been on my case. There's no excitement left. Okay. So that's what we did when we were dating, right? When you were dating, you would meet this, you would finish work and all that and get so excited to meet this person. Yeah. Right. And maybe just before the date, okay, are you coming? When, what time can I see you? And all that stuff. So you keep that same chemistry alive. Get on with your life. It's good. Trust me, couples who are able to manage a good, healthy relationship and long term relationships are couples who have individual goals. And then they have their couple goals. Your life cannot completely be about only couple goals. You need to have your own individual goals. Then you're excited to meet the other half and come together as a couple.
I am really enjoying this conversation, Rakhi. So we spoke all about the good things that can go in a relationship, but now talking of the tougher or the unspoken side is the toxic aspect of relationship. So, what are the signs that one should look for to get an indication that this might get into toxicity or this might not be as smooth? Whether it is coming from me as a person contributing in this relationship or whether it is coming from other person. How to identify this?
Okay. Whenever I talk about toxic relationships, I first uh, ask people to point out where the toxicity comes from. Sometimes what happens is this situation itself is toxic. Like, for example, your mindsets and your value systems differ, differ so much that none of you are going to be able to find a middle ground. Like, there are a lot of couples where they have a lot of differences in food, habits, but you're willing to work on it. But there may be a lot of differences in value systems. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. For me, I was very clear that for me, my career is equally important as much as my marriage. I'm not going to be, uh, uh, and because my career is very important, I may not be able to be the traditional daughter in law, which was accepted and which I had to drain into my husband. It didn't happen overnight. Yeah. And we worked around it. But suppose you get into a relationship, you're meeting this person and you fall in love and they fall in love and they're like, oh, it's like chemistry, physics, biology, everything together. Though all the three laboratories are working. Okay, full force. Yeah. But the minute you say, okay, listen, I want to study further and say, nay, that doesn't work. Or you want to say, okay, I would like to work. No, that doesn't work. Okay, that's the first red flag. That means that there is going to be, there is a toxic circumstance. Okay, then I think one needs to back off. You can decide that, oh, I will make the compromises and all that, and you get into it. Good if you can kill your dreams and live happily. Yeah. And too bad if it doesn't happen. Eventually, it will catch up. That's the first thing. The second thing, where my book, Now You Breathe, or Breaking Free, Embracing Me, these are very serious topics. Okay. When I say toxic in my reads, there are a lot of likes. But the minute I get down to spotting the toxicity, that means the person itself has a disturbed or a distorted personality and a mindset. That even if the situation is fine, they will complicate it. So, we are talking about behavioral issues and personality disorders like narcissistic personality disorders, borderline personality disorders. These are very serious issues. These are scientifically, medically documented. And just like one has COVID, you look for certain things. Somebody may have TB, somebody may have malaria. You can't confuse two different fevers. Same way, these are personality differences, and people will behave exactly according to the textbook science. Now you're in trouble. If you get stuck with a toxic person, yeah, they will make a normal circumstances also toxic. That is the dangerous life. Yeah, that's one. So the second thing, like you said, how do you recognize a toxic person? So the first thing is like I said, watch how they behave with you. But here, when I told you from the yellow flags, we'll move on to the red flags. There are two things I ask couples to notice. How do they behave with you when you're in public? And how do they behave with you when they get to be alone with you? Are they treating you the same way? That's a big red flag. Because when they behave with you in public differently and they're nice and courteous, that means that's them. But are they behaving the same way when you're alone with them? Then you know that they're wearing a mask in public. So one of the things about a personality disorder is these people, they wear a mask. So you will never know them, and you will actually get lured by them. Most people who get into personality marriages with narcissists, psychopaths, they are lured, and later hell have fury breaks on them. The second thing I tell people to notice is how do these people treat others who don't matter? Like, for example, if you've gone on a date, how are they treating the security? How are they treating the waiter? How are they treating people who are not of the same social background or economic background? You don't have to be a philanthropist. You understand, like, oh, go around taking your this thing from your pocket and tipping them generously. But are you treating that person with respect? That's very important. That is when you will know that basically what does that person's value system is. If they can treat others and they don't have, so you will see things like empathy. Do they empathize with other people? Do they sympathize? Are they kind and courteous? Such people who have no values or who don't value human emotions, trust me, in a 24/7 relationship in the long run, they are very much capable of abusing and raising your hands on you because that value system is not there. Because after that, sometime when you start living together, you take the other person for granted. There's nothing new about you. So these are the two important things: is how you are treated in public, and how do they behave with you in private, and how do they treat the people who don't matter to them at all. At least are they humane and have some basic ethics. That's how you could recognize toxic traits in a person while you're dating.
Yes. And another common aspect is conflict. Conflict related to planning dates, conflict related to where to go, how much time to spend, when to spend. Lot of conflicts. So how to resolve this in an amicable way by communicating, and so it does not turn into a hostile discussion.
See, one is you can communicate, next is action. So if you say communication, yeah, there is action also there in that thing. So, say for example, I have my dinners very early. I finish my dinner at 6 in the evening. So then there are dates where we do an early date. Okay. So my husband understands, or if I was dating someone, I would understand that probably on a Sunday or on a day when they're not working, we catch up on an early dinner, on an early meal. Otherwise, we do a movie date or we do something else which does not have to involve a meal. Then there are times when I know that this person or my spouse cannot make it early, but he still wants to step out. So what I do is I finish eating my meal. And so we just step out and I have something very light. So you understand? So one is we take turns. If I like Chinese and you like Italian, let's make it that once it is Italian, once it's Chinese, or we go to a multi cuisine restaurant where both Chinese and Italian is available. Yeah. If I can't make it at this time, can I adjust? The one who's flexible, can I adjust and come? Today I adjust, tomorrow, if there is an emergency and I can't make it on this time, can you come on my time? So that's why I say when it comes to resolving conflicts, it's about watching. Now is the time to watch a person's action, not words. When it comes to conflict resolution, okay, you can keep communicating whatever you want to the other person. But when it actually comes to a problem solving issue or a conflict resolution, is people who can work and act accordingly that can resolve. So that is when you will come to know that no matter how much this person is talking, but when there is a crisis, this person is not willing to adapt, adjust, and act accordingly. So you can, one is you state your needs. This is what works for me. Two, then watch if that person listens to you and acts accordingly. That is how you can foresee a conflict, clear, I mean, get over a conflict, and also understand that with some people conflicts cannot be resolved. That's again another red flag that you can see in a relationship.
Just move on, right? When you see conflict cannot be resolved.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rakhi, another point that I would like to have your views on is how does past relationship experience impacts us when we think of moving into a next relationship or dating a new person after calling off a long-term relationship because it was not working out?
Okay. So there is something called as conditioning. Yeah. So when I'm talking about relationships, I have done a lot of courses, and I'm a counselor myself. So there are two fundamental things I believe. One is behavior, two is condition. Finally, it comes to all that. Yeah. So if you have been with a person for a very, very, very long time, yeah, you get conditioned to that person. The way they loved you becomes your definition of love. The way they treat you, you get conditioned to get treated to them. You expect that. So, say for example, in most of the toxic relationships, like when I speak to a lot of people who have been under they've been under abusive relationships, they've been with narcissists, or I answer a lot of my questions on Quora, I always tell them that you need to take a break. You need to take a break and don't jump into the next relationship because you'll go and find exactly the same person you left. So you need to decondition and uncondition yourself and relearn what actually love means. So when you come out of a previous relationship, you'll come out with a lot of baggage. And the baggage is, one is you will expect, oh, this person did the same when I and expressed love to me, then the new person also should do the same. No, this new person will show you or love you or express themselves in a very different manner. The next thing you will come back with hurt. Oh, this person hurt you. That means the past relationship was very painful, or they did this to you. You will anticipate and get into the next relationship that you're going to be hurting every time. The minute you do that, the minute you do that, you yourself are going to sabotage that relationship because you will misinterpret what the other person is trying to say. You'll become very sensitive. You'll become very judgmental because everybody makes mistakes. So, say in your previous relationship, this person has always hurt you a lot of times. In your new relationship, the person you're with will also do things and hurt you unnecessarily. But do they make amends? In the previous relationship, somebody who's hurt you just said sorry and walked away, and you just took it. So next time when you're in your new relationship, this person is telling sorry, but you're not willing to give them a chance also to make them amends. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
That's
yes.
when you get conditioned to love. You get conditioned to expectations. You get conditioned to your response to your own emotions when you are with a previous person, and then you take that baggage and you move into the next relationship. So I always tell people not to switch into a long term relationship immediately after breaking up. Yes, you don't come out from the deep sea and you land into the devil's arms. Or, for example, you become the devil in your next relationship and you can actually mess up with a very good person. So, if you're hurting, you're aching, it is important for you to take some time off, find out what went wrong, rebuild your own expectations. Because a lot of times, both the people are responsible. These are the things that you did, which you should not have done, and you lost this person. Either ways, mistakes you made and mistakes you accept. So that's when again boundaries in your mind. This is how much I will expect. This is what I will expect. This is how much I can give. Once you cleanse yourself, spend some time alone, meet a lot of other people also. So here is where you can go on dates. It's not that you have to be alone, but that's why again I start dating does not mean you're committing to getting into a relationship at all. Go on dates, meet people casually. So then you're very clear. See, this dating culture is from the West. It's very nascent in India. But India is like, oh, you went on 2, 3 days. Acha, now you should get married. That attitude has to go. Otherwise, don't date. Or don't tell your elders that you're dating because they will say, Arey, what is this? They don't understand that culture was not there. India is a country where arranged marriages would happen. They would never know their spouse and you get committed. So for our parents or the elders to understand the concept of dating is a big thing, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
that's why then you go on dates or you meet friends or you do a lot of other activities where you meet people generally where you're not interested in getting into a relationship. Take your time and then get into a relationship. It's not that you can't have a crush. It's not that you can't talk to someone. But you're very clear that, listen, we are not getting hardcore into a committed relationship for now. That's where friendship plays a very, very important factor.
Taki, since you brought this topic of arranged marriage, I would like to know, see, in previous generation, arranged marriage would work, right? And it was easy. But this generation, there's a lot of issues. Like when it comes to arranged marriage, I see a lot of them calling off the arranged marriage in less than 5 years in my friend circle, in my extended family. So what has changed so much in one generation that things which was absolutely fault proof and it was working is just not working now?
Okay, see, I'll tell you the whole basis and the reason for the arranged marriages. Okay. I'm not against arranged marriages, but I was very clear from the very beginning. Like I told my mother when I was a teenager, because I would see what's happening with my cousins. I said, you ever ask me to carry a tray of tea, hot tea, and serve it, I will pour it on that man's crotch. And my mother were like, this is how I was. My parents were like very scared. They were like, oh God, Mom, Mary, you go find a man for yourself. But my mother was very clear. My parents, you find a man, then you make your marriage work. Don't come crying to us. So that was the stand that they had taken. So you see what happens. I'll tell you, in an arranged marriage, the parents find a family because when you get married, yeah, you are not only living with your husband, but you're living with the whole family. You get married to the family, your mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, everybody gets the picture, yeah. You can't dissolve. It happens both sides, but more for a woman. Okay. So they would look for a family also. Acha, the boy is nice. That means he's not going to be a trouble, but are the other people nice? And again, do your value systems match? Okay, this is a family where the girls are working, or they can wear these kind of clothes, or they eat this kind of food, and we will send our daughter in there and she will fit it. Now, we need to understand this one thing that nowadays the families are nuclear. We are no more living anymore with the big joint family structure. So, not necessarily that you do the compatibility according to every family member, but they're not living. But the boy and girl itself are not compatible. Then what is the point? Then again, as kids, we have a huge generation gap. Arranged marriage, the parents have looked at the other parents and the family outside, and the boy is like, in the whole family, they'll say, oh, I don't drink. But he's happily sitting and drinking with his friends. Or the girl itself says, I don't smoke, but she smokes. Yeah. So if you are just looking at the family, you really don't know the children. That has changed. One is joint family systems have gone. Okay. to be ourselves. Like earlier, the girls are very clear. This is the family, that's the family. You tell the girl, you get married, and that's it. Your marriage is end all. But now it's not that. It's not that. You have educated the girl. You have empowered her. You have given her personal aspirations. So what if a woman who's never gone to work and decided that she wants to be a homemaker, she sends her daughter to another family where the culture is the same, where the women don't work there, they don't have careers. But you have raised your daughter in a very different manner. Now, when you send her to the same place, because your family culture is the same, but your daughter's culture of your family is not the same, or your son's culture of the same family, there's a cultural difference in the family itself. So that is why arranged marriages are not working that well now. But let me tell you one thing, I have also seen love marriages fail miserably. So, what I say is that a marriage, the minute you are married, all the dating and the past is another, it is like before Christ. Okay, that is BC. Marriage means starting from scratch. Starting from scratch. And how much ever you date a person, how much ever this person, how much ever you will always be ready for surprises. Because even when you're married, you grow together and you keep changing. We don't remain the same. I'm not the same woman who married my husband certain years. I have changed so much. And he turns around and says, oh, you have changed. I also turn around and say, oh, you have changed. Now, the thing is, when we change, is the change happening together so that there is no a gap? This is not a generational gap, but a gap comes in. Sometimes in some couples, one couple evolves in a different manner. Another couple changes in another part of the couple changes in a different manner. Then there is a gap again. Yes, so that is why arranged marriages are not working as much as it used to before. But again, I want to say love marriage can also fail as good as the rates of arranged marriage. But the only thing with the love marriage, like in my case, was I could never go back and tell my parents, you did it. I had to make it work because I fought so hard to get married. So you have this, oh God, I can't go back to them and they're going to give me hell for it. I might even deal with the hell I'm getting here, then get help from there and get help from. That's the only difference.
Rakhi, it was a really an interesting conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed, and probably you brought in your 20 years of insight in this 20, 40 minutes of discussion that we had. And you're so crisp and giving those insightful words like dating. You don't go with that mindset. I think probably most of the time I have gone on dates or met guys, it was with the mindset of making it work, or because I come from that conservative family of being questioned after one date, two date, what's next. So it got conditioned in me.
No,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, next time when you're asked to say that, oh, go see the guy, then just say this. When I go shopping, I try so many outfits, but I buy only a few. Right? So it's not that you
Yes.
go and whatever you try, you're going to put in your bag. That's why you're dating, because you're going to try whether it fits you or not.
I love this. I love this analogy. It just it drills down immediately. And another thing which I really liked is it, even in the long-term relationship, you're not with the same person. Like the person is also evolving, you are also evolving, and both of the couples are bringing new things to the relationship. Because that was the cliche that you hear, right, with your friends around. अरे एक ही person के साथ कितना boring हो जाता है. But the perspective that you brought in is like there's lot of newness in the old wine itself.
Yeah, yeah, some new annoying habits will come. Okay, you have to learn to deal with them. Then some new perspectives will come because each couple starts growing. Each the man and the woman they start growing, and then you'll actually see a soft side also. Like, oh, you were not so caring, or you didn't care. So much we change. So no, you are not married to the same person. The only thing is there is a security in coming back to the marriage. Like Either you can go to 10 different places and break your heart 10 times and believe that something is wrong with you. Okay. Or you come back to the same person, break your heart, mend it, and believe that we all can go wrong, but we are not meant to remain broken. We can fix ourselves up. That's what I would put marriage in one line. Again, having said that, I would say if you are in a marriage where you think that there is no end to it and it is breaking you completely, you must get out.
Unless both of the partners are not willing to put effort to make it work, probably it's going to drain out to one individual who is putting in too much of effort.
Yes, very true. And that's why, as an individual, we also need to decide that we don't drain ourselves. It's not necessary. Sometimes I've had a lot of women asking me that their men turn around and tell them, "Did I ask you to do it?" They didn't ask for it. Then I said, "Then why? Why do you go out of the way to do something and instead of having a thank you, you get to hear this, did I ask you to do it?" And if you did it, if you went out of your way to do it because it made you happy. Do it because it made you happy, not because you are expecting a thank you. So seeking validation, that is the big mess up. In most of us, it is not about being in a relationship. Fundamentally, if we are waiting for the world to see us so that we can build our self esteem, it's never going to happen.
Yes, Rakhi, you have tons of insight to share. Probably we can go on and on, maybe for next 20 days, probably, to have insight of the 20 years of experience that you carry. But now I would like to really thank you for coming and sharing all the knowledge, your experiences, and sharing it in a way which just drills down like directly, and it creates that instant shift. Oh, this is the next action point that I have on my plate. Thank you so much, Rakhi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.